Joe Rogan will be interviewing Donald Trump before the election day on November 5th, says Elon Musk in a tweet. Alex tweeted right here, Joe Rogan has 25 days left to interview Donald Trump. Elon Musk, 3 big words. It will happen. Trump has been going on a media storm, going on a bunch of different podcasts, and everyone was wondering, when is he going to do the Joe Rogan thing? Well, it wasn't really going to happen. Why? Although they have met before and been cordial, and Trump has pulled him in with that power handshake that he does, Trump and Joe Rogan have not talked the greatest about each other in the past. Here's a clip of Joe Rogan saying that he did turn down multiple offers to help Donald Trump and have him on his podcast before. Quote, I don't want to help him. I'm not interested in helping him. Let's take a look.
By the way, I'm not a Trump supporter in any way, shape, or form. I've had the opportunity to have him on my show more than once. I've said no every time. I don't want to help him. I'm not interested in helping him.
The night is still young. We'll see.
If I have him on, the night is still young?
Yeah.
You think I'll have him on?
I think you'll have him on.
Really? Why do you think that? Because you'll have Putin on?
Oh my God, Joe.
And you're competitive as fuck. No. I think ultimately, you've had a lot of people that I think you may otherwise be skeptical. Would I have a good conversation? Which I think is your metric. You don't care about politics, so can I have a good conversation? And I think you had like people like Kanye on, for example, and you had a great conversation with him. I think but Kanye is an artist. But Kanye doing well or not doing well doesn't change the course of our country. Yeah, but do you really bear the responsibility of the course of our country based on a conversation?
I think you can revitalize and rehabilitate someone's image in a way that is pretty shocking.
That's true. So basically, Joe is saying, I'm not a supporter of Trump, hence I don't want to have him on because having him on can help him. But yet, you'd think that that's smart, obviously, but you think maybe if he didn't like him, he could have him on and expose him by having a quality conversation and asking quality questions. So now, if the truth is coming out, the report from Elon Musk, it will happen, and Joe Rogan's criteria for not having Trump on before was because he was not a supporter. He did not want to help platform him, not help improve his image. Maybe if he's willing to have him on now, maybe he is a fan of Donald Trump. But what has Trump thought about Joe Rogan in the past when they've had this back and forth, not liking each other that much? Let's find out.
Let me ask you about my good friend Joe Rogan. So you had a bit of tension with him. So when he said nice things about RFK Jr., I think, you've said some not so nice things about Joe, and I think that was a bit unfair.
It'll be interesting to see how loudly Joe Rogan gets booed the next time he enters the UFC ring, meaning because I think he was talking quality about RFK and not the greatest about Trump. And when you go to those UFC events, they are loud for Trump.
And as a fan of Joe, I would love to see you do his podcast because he is legit the greatest conversationalist in the world. So what's the story behind the tension?
I don't think there was any tension. And I've always liked him, but I don't know him. I mean, I only see him when I walk into the arena with Dana and I shake his hand. I see him there, and I think he's good at what he does, but I don't know about doing his podcast. I mean, I guess I'd do it, but I haven't been asked, and I'm not asking them, I'm not asking anybody.
It sounds like a challenging negotiation situation.
No, it's not. It's not really a negotiation. And he's sort of a liberal guy, I guess, from what I understand. But he likes Kennedy. This was before, I found this out before Kennedy came in with us. He's going to be great. Bobby's going to be great. But I like that he likes Kennedy. I do too. He's a different kind of a guy, but he's got some great things going. And I think he's going to be beyond politics. I think he could be quite influential in taking care of some situations that you probably would agree should be taken care of.
The Joe Rogan post is an example. I would love to get your psychology about behind the tweets and the post on Truth. Are you sometimes being intentionally provocative, or are you just speaking your mind? And are there times where you regret some of the truths you've posted?
Yeah, I do. I mean, but not that often, honestly. You know,
Not that often, yeah, because he likes to say what he likes to say. He doesn't want to think it through so much like all these other guys that try to get it past their team, make sure they're saying the right thing. But what would Joe Rogan ask Trump in an interview? Well, to find out, let's see some previous things he said about questions he would like to ask regarding this fear of getting into office, politics. Let's check it out.
So when you're having Trump on?
I don't know.
Okay. The look.
I don't know. Maybe.
Looks like you got something.
Maybe.
Okay, good. That's good. I think that's.
Look, at a certain point in time, it's just like, it would be interesting to hear his perspective on a lot of things. I would like to know, what is it like when you actually get into office? I would like to know things like, what is it like versus perception?
Yeah.
What is it actually like when you get in that building? Like, what are you greeted with? When do you know that people are fucking with you? When do you know that the intelligence agency is lying to you? Like, when you decided to fire Comey, what was the thought? How much did you know? Like, what's the machine like? What is the deep state really like? Really like? Because we have all these, smoky room perceptions, like from the Bill Hicks joke, where they show you the Kennedy assassination from an angle you've never seen before. What is the machine that runs this country? Because it's very clear that it's not as simple as elected representatives that are doing the will of the people. It's not.
Look at the deep questions Joe has that he wants to ask possibly Trump, which, in my opinion, it doesn't make sense why he'd be hesitant to want to have a political person on. If he's good at conversations, if he's thinking deeper about the deep state and stuff that goes on with the country, you'd think that he would want to see, not only for himself, but for his viewers, that he would want to see in person and be able to strip down somebody through a conversation. Who are they really? If he's that great of a conversationalist, couldn't he strip down the reality of Kamala Harris and how she actually functions to the same degree that he could strip down Donald Trump? You'd think someone with that big of a platform would want to take on that responsibility, unless, like Joe just said, there is a whole behind-the-scenes engine running this thing that could cause him a lot of backlash, money lost. He has a huge Spotify deal. I don't know what would happen to that if he was allowed to have Trump on. You just never know. So I'm glad that this is actually going to happen, and I'm sure many of you guys are as well. And it comes straight from Mr. Dark MAGA himself, Elon Musk. If you guys enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. It's Sean Daniel here, and I'll see you in the next one.